Snedeker.
So this is that time in the show when we move from broadcaster to broadcaster and we have a little gap. We'll bring you any live golf we can get with our own cameras that we have out there, but it's a great opportunity to be able to introduce you to Jamie Donaldson. He's the senior instructor, AimPoint Europe. I've got that right, haven't I, Jamie?
Pretty good, yeah.
Awesome. OK. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about AimPoint. The idea tonight really is a lot of folks at home know about AimPoint. A lot of people use AimPoint. A lot of people know nothing about it. We know players are using it. So first of all, let's just have a little look. Some of the names that are actually using AimPoint on the tour, and they're quite tasty names as well. I mean, why are so many players turning to this?
Well, you know, players like systems. They like to be able to work things out, and they like to backtrack if they get something wrong. And till now, green reading's been very much, well, I wish I'd aimed a bit wider. But with AimPoint, it's a system. We can measure in certain places. If they get it wrong, they can make an adjustment. They can go to the next green. They can say, right, it was a 3, not a 2. This feels similar. I'm going to play a 2 now.
Yeah. Really cool. We're going to look at the detail of it in just a moment, but how did it come about?
Right, well, it's a good story, and it all started in about 2003. And there's a guy called Mark Sweeney, who was an IT guy, and I'll tell you the full story, he was having lessons, and no one was able to solve the green reading for him. No one was able to help him actually work it out. And he said, I'm going to go and I'm going to create a computer program which can calculate break. So he created a computer program which has about 14,000 lines of algorithms. We take a 3D map of a green for it to work, tell the computer where the hole is, tell it where the ball is, and it can calculate break with 99% accuracy in 2.5 seconds. And he wanted it to be on television. He wanted to sell it as a TV product. And it took about 4 years before the networks would actually see it, that it could work. And then it went on to the Golf Channel. So it started its life there and had massive success. The blue dotted line that they would see on the Golf Channel, and it was a live TV product. So the player would set up to hit their putt, blue dotted line would come out, player would hit his putt, and the ball would either be on the blue line and go in or miss. And then he learnt how predictable putting is. So that brought out the aim chart. So this is an aim chart, not to be confused with the green map.
No.
No, so this isn't a green map, even though the 3D maps we were making in 2003 to 2004 would be. This is a chart for actually predicting break.
Right.
It takes in the value of slope, the angle you're crossing the slope, and also the distance of the putt and the stimp.
Yeah.
And players were using this to read putts.
Yeah.
Stacey Lewis won the British Open using it. She was world's #1. You know, an incredible green reading tool. This so accurate.
Yeah.
But it takes in quite a few factors for them to get the number correct.
Yeah, and I suppose the big thing is I can feel it here. People at home are going, there, those books that take too long. That's why my golf is so slow now, because people are taking so long, and the kids are watching these pros on the telly taking all this time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how that's developed. We'll talk about green books in a bit as well, but let's get up on the mat.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to get you to demonstrate AimPoint Express. What is it? How is it done? I'm going to leave this to you, and you're going to talk us through it and then demonstrate as well. OK,
so with players needing to use the aim chart, practice regularly and to get really complacent with it, then we needed to come up with something faster. And this is the Express read. You're reading any putts in around 10 seconds, and it's all done very simply. So we start at the ball, and this is telling me which way the slope goes. So as I stand here, I know the weight is going to my left. Yeah. Now, we will teach people how to measure in certain certain positions throughout the putt. So having done this, I've now got a metric for the slope value.
And that's based on what you're feeling through your feet?
Yes, it's all about side slope.
Yeah, and we should also point out we've tipped the Zen stage here. We haven't told you how much, but I'm sure you know by feeling it through your feet. And I suppose I'd expect you to be good at it because you've been teaching all this time. How do you get, I mean, how long does it take to learn AimPoint Express?
Well, we could teach it in 15 minutes. But when we coach it, we take 2 hours. What we will do is we'll take a group of people through a process which is short putts, so inside 6 feet, and we get them reading those in 3 seconds. Wow. Then we go 7 to 20, which is the average first length putt for most players, is around 18 feet. Then we go full length of the green. Then we go double breaks, and then we talk about arm adjustments for speed control, for speed of green. Yeah. So we like to say that our classes are 10% us talking, 90% them practicing. and leaving the class expert green readers. So it really is a start, middle and an end for a skill attainment.
Yeah, well, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here with you because I'm asking the questions that, well, the questions I had, because I came to you for a lesson, because I wanted to know more. We came and I spent my 2 hours with you. I was remarkable how quickly, how easy it is to pick it up. We're going to get you to go through it. So you've measured it already. You already have the calculation. Talk us through how this works, what this is all about, and what it means.
So this is quite a quick green. I mean, I'm putting this around 12 stimps somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use quite a lot of arm bend. And if the green was slower, we'd use less arm bend. Now, this is all to the person's hand size, arm length, green speed. So this would be a calibration that we would teach people how to improve, to refine their putts, how to sort of tune them in. You know, if they're missing slightly high, they can straighten their arm a little bit. If they're missing a bit low, they can add some arm bend. So that's the personal touch to it.
So obviously, the closer the hand comes towards you, when you're looking at it, that's a bigger read at the end there. So the faster it is, the closer the hand's getting, the further out. And again, I suppose players, whether it be on tour, whether it be amateur golfers, are just adapting based on the different courses, different speed of greens.
Yeah. And quite often by their missed putts.
Yeah. OK, well, go on. Let's see it then.
OK, so I'm feeling about a 2 here, and I know it's quite a quick green, so I'm going to be using quite a little bit of arm bend in here. So having done that, I've now got my target, which is going to be around about here.
Yeah.
OK, so we'll set up and hit our putt.
Oh, it died across, and you go and have one more go.
Started that one a little bit left.
The bit that it doesn't take into account is the pressure of the shot centre.
Yes, of course, yes. OK.
Took a little hop on you, stay up, just dying low.
Just starting those a little bit left.
A fraction bit too left, but you would adapt as well, I take it, as you go along, dependent. I mean, if you've hit, the great thing is, because you've got a set line, you've picked your line, so you know whether you've hit a good putt or you've misread. And if you've misread, I take it you have to then
That's a great point, because they just started left, so there's my classic kind of pull. This is Simon's putt.
Operator error.
Operator error.
Yeah.
But the break was considerable, which matched my prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk a lot more about this. We have got a couple of shots from our own cameras to be able to show you from the window. Let's get out there. CT pan. Chance to move to 12 under. Oh, in it goes. And Jamie, interesting here. Brian Gay going well. A nice little story for you on that.
Yeah, Brian was one of the first players to ever use AimPoint Express, and I mean, I'm pretty sure he was the first to use it, and he's great timing. So he's a big advocate of the AimPoint Express system, and he was using the chart before. Yeah. And once he got into using the feet and fingers, I think it really simplified his process. It really made it a lot easier for him to have a really nice, solid routine using AimPoint Express, and an amazing putter.
Yeah. Eagle opportunity there. Keith Mitchell, highest swing speed on tour. Not the longest hitter though, so he either hits a lot of 3-woods or he doesn't hit the middle of the face, one of the two. Some incredible speeds by the players now, the generator getting up towards 130. I mean, it's no Joe Miller, it's no 150, but it's still pretty quick. Grant Snedeker, saw him roll one in. This guy can putt, Jamie.
Yes, he's always been known to be a fantastic putter. He's probably got one of the shortest and the quickest tempos on tour. So his style stands out a little bit from the other players, but he's always been a very good, consistent putter.
Just a reminder, we are waiting for CBS to pick up the coverage over at the Wyndham. As I said, brilliant opportunity with Jamie taking his time to come in and see us here at Sky Sports Golf, to be able to talk about AimPoint, so relevant as well in the modern game. Going to play, and we're going to dispel myths.
Yes.
Slow play. A lot of people will sit at home, hopefully, and look at it and say, this is the problem. These green books, this AimPoint thing, this is causing all the problems. That's not what the guys are doing, though, now, is it? And how long should this be taking compared to a traditional read of walking around all 4 sides? Yeah. I mean, how does it compare?
Well, just to be clear, with AimPoint Express, the player is mapping in play. So they're using their feet to judge the slopes just low of where the ball will be rolling. So they're feeling the only thing that matters, which is what the ball is touching. Yeah. So they're not using any mapping to give them any sort of clues. Yeah. And literally, as fast as you can walk to 2/3 of the putt, you've got the data, you've got the slope feel. Now you've just got to come back and work out your target from here.
So we'll put it to the test. We already know you know that putt, so I'm going to change your read here. I'm going to get my producer to get his stopwatch ready.
Okay.
He's standing by, he's told me. So we're going to hit from this side, so you can fit on the mat, of course.
Yeah, just.
And you're not going to look at it yet, because we're going to go to the other hole.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is how it's, if you were being timed on the course, it would start now. It's your turn to putt. Off you
Perfect.
go.
Okay, because we're going slightly uphill now, this is actually less of a slope. So the last one was 2. This one is playing more like a 1.5. So I actually use my thumb for 1.5. Here we go. So there's a little bit less break there now. And it's easier putt because we're actually putting slightly uphill.
Oh, beautiful roll. Oh, it's cruel.
Cruel.
It's cruel. Shot centre's cruel, what can I say?
Shot centre's cruel.
25 seconds, which is
Wow.
a long way away from what we're seeing at the moment.
From start to pulling the trigger.
And that's you stopping to tell me a couple of things as well. We do, however, see people out there taking 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we're seeing that when they're getting these books out. Is that an issue in your mind as well?
Yeah, if you ever see the book, you'll see that there's lots and lots of arrows that show direction of slope. And what we're taking is certain areas we're measuring, we could say the average, the combination of these directions of slope and slope values. You could look at a booklet and see several different arrow directions. And I've used the books and to go out and practice, and I look at it and you don't know where to start sometimes. So it could be an indicator, but it's definitely not an accurate way of anyone choosing slope values in association with Express.
So it's important for us to not confuse the green books with AimPoint Express, which is what,
yes, please.
what these guys are using. And,
yeah.
you know, when you look at that list, again, I'm playing devil's advocate because two things, actually. I went out with my little boy the other day. He's 5 years old, and we were up at Wentworth, my club, and we went on the green, and it was tilting like this. And, of course, I look at it, having played golf all my life. Nice. I immediately know it's a couple of cups outside. Right. So he stands over, he's aiming dead straight at the hole.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, mate, come on, come behind, have a look at it. He can't see anything because he's got no experience.
Got no history.
And I thought, how do I explain what that putt does? I mean, how do I explain what the break is? And the most obvious thing that popped in my head was, well, I can feel we're getting pulled over to this right leg now. And, you know, is that really the emphasis for how this came about in terms of being able to teach people starting out as well, how to understand break?
Yeah, I mean, the ethos of the AimPoint Express reader is anybody can learn it, and they're going to master it. So that you don't have to be an elite golfer, they don't have to have a history of being able to understand balance. It's just a case of this foot feels lower and then give it a value.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a read that absolutely anybody can master.
When you look at that list of players there, and again, I think some folks might look at that and think, great players. Dustin Johnson on there, world #1, not a brilliant putter. If you had to pick a part of his game you'd say isn't his forte, you'd say he's putting, although he obviously puts pretty well to be world #1.
Yeah.
People might look at that and think, these are brilliant players. Tommy Fleetwood, great ball striker. Justin Rose, amazing ball striker. They're good putters, but it's not their biggest strength. They might think, well, hang on a minute, the very, very best putters, do any of them use AimPoint? How much of that is about the old concept about why people would use it in the first place?
Right.
And how much of that is now going to change, do you think? Because, for instance, Jordan Spieth, cross-handed, as we were growing up, if you were cross-handed, you were a bad putter.
Yeah.
That's changing. Kids start to learn like that now. We're going to see that with AimPoint as well?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a sort of mystique about it, and it was, you know, the bad players would need AimPoint to help them. It was like when TrackMan came out onto the range to start with, everyone thought, oh, we can't learn swinging by numbers. And now every single player uses a TrackMan. It's just the way the golf industry works. It works a little bit slower than other industries. There's still people that believe balls break uphill, break towards water, or there's something in that golf ball that gets magnetised to a landmark. Yeah. So we still hear people, you know, saying the balls move towards a certain city, like in Mexico at the Olympics. So those myths are taking a while to break down. However, you know, I've been working with 12-year-olds that are playing off +1. There's a 12-year-old girl in Korea that played in the Women's US Open using AimPoint. And if you look at Europro, we've got every week there's guys winning, filling up the top 3 using the AimPoint system. And for them, they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
They're quite happy to say, this is what I do. There's not a case of this is a new weird thing. They've been doing it for 4 or 5 years and totally trusting it.
Well, one thing's for sure, Jamie, the players on that list are pretty special. And there's loads of amateur golfers probably around the world that are putting a whole lot better, taking loads of strokes off their handicap because of what they're learning with AimPoint. Thank you so much for coming in to see us tonight. Cheers, Jamie.
Thank you.
Let's get back out onto the golf course because hopefully we are getting into